responded to the Police Staff Association by a statement issued on the 10th of March. Since that time, Superintendent Robert Young, who is the head of the Security and Intelligence branch of the force, was quoted in the press as saying that my comments, the original ones, had no effect on the work of the police force. There is nothing more to add to my earlier statement, and I do not propose to add anything today. I thank the many police officers who have called me to lend their support. I say to the many who support the PLP and the force that I've taken note of how the FNM has victimized so many who support the party in the force. But hold on, help and hope is on the way. This is a teachable moment. The Bahamian people have come to understand that there is a role for all public servants, including the disciplined forces, and there is a role for politicians. We each have our roles in the system. Public servants, including those in the disciplined forces, are subordinate to civilian authority. When that changes, we go down a dangerous road. That is as far as I intend to go on this matter. But my purpose today is to deal with the FNM. Let me tell you what their problem is. They have lost popular support. They lost the general election in Foxhill in 2007 and have not yet gotten over it. They lost in Elizabeth in 2011 and have not gotten over it. I urge them to get over it. I urge them to get ready for a beating in the general election in 2012 or whenever their leader chooses to call the election. Foxhill is a targeted seat. There is deep-seated prejudice by their leader against me as an individual, and everything and the kitchen sink will be set upon the people of Foxhill. These will include lies, half-truths, and distortions. From the FNM in this next election, you can expect gerrymandering of the boundaries and putting economic pressure on the people of Foxhill. So when the FNM calls for an apology, it is not out of any sincere concern for the police or for this country. It is simply propaganda, cooked up in their minds to distract the PLP from the larger battle which is to come. Their bad governance has left tens of thousands of people unemployed, who were employed in 2007 when the PLP was last in power. In my constituency today, there are people who have no food to eat, children that are going hungry, mortgages, car payments, and school fees going unpaid because of the FNM and their bad governance. Indeed, I am forced on a daily basis to put my hand in my pocket to access my modest means to pay for infrastructural work in the constituency which the government should be doing. The latest example is the government's inability or unwillingness to spend $580 to put up a fallen basketball pole on the Eastwood Park after 8 weeks of pleading for them to do so. So if anyone is to apologize, it is the FNM. They should hang their heads in shame for the disgraceful way they are governing this country. It is also clear that the FNM must find a way desperately to distract the public from the fact that they are going to sell BTC against the wishes of the Bahamian people to cable and wireless. This is the ultimate and unpardonable sin in politics, giving away a part of the national patrimony at a fire sale price. Is it any wonder that they have come to be known in some circles as the foreign national movement? I have one question for the FNM and the minister responsible for the Bahamas Information Services. I understand that there is a group of FNM employees in the Bahamas Information Services on the government's payroll that is working as a committee to conduct FNM propaganda and being paid to do so out of the public purse. If that is the case, it is a serious abuse of government funds. I understand that one such FNM operative was hired as late as this week in the Bahamas Information Services, with special budgetary measures and accommodations being made to ensure that he is paid. I think that is what the public is really concerned about, and that is what the FNM ought to answer. You know, the late Cecil Wallace Whitfield told this House of Assembly, in which I now sit, as he was facing the scourge of cancer, that he would not attack anyone but if attacked, he would respond. I support that philosophy. And I thought myself this morning, as I find myself in the midst of a manufactured crisis, indeed on the Ides of March, that this whole thing was cooked up in the minds of the little pixies that run the FNM propaganda store and ought to be treated as such. The idea is to manufacture some false dispute between the PLP and the police, trying to use the genuine concern of the Police Staff Association for a purpose other than for what it was intended. This is straight out of the FNM's political playbook. There is no such dispute with the police. It is a figment of their vivid and wicked imaginations. The FNM should simply shut up, butt out, and stay out of what they do not understand and what does not concern them. So I hope I've been clear, concise, and direct. That is the end of that as far as I'm concerned, and I hope that those of you who have promoted this will, of course, give me equal time to respond to these baseless attacks upon me. Thank you. People pay their taxes in this country for the garbage to be collected, for the parks to be cleaned, and for them to be kept to a proper standard. Because let's just take one simple legal example. Suppose repairs take place to this park. The repairs are faulty. Someone gets hurt. Where's the liability for that on a government park? So that's why the government fixes the park, and that's why the government keeps the park clean, because it keeps it to a standard. And everybody knows what that standard is. That's the point. So here you have a neighborhood where people's homes are $300,000. They're paying real property tax. And 8 weeks ago, they make a request for the pole on the basketball court to be put back up, and you can't do it. All you can do is say, I'm going to get to it, I'm going to get to it, I'm going to get to it. Ultimately, I think that the community decided, by working with them, to try and get it done themselves.
Okay.
And that, you know, I promote community involvement and leadership. I think you're absolutely right. But at the same time, the government has responsibilities, and they need to simply act on those responsibilities. And the reason I raise it is because they're the ones who are always shouting about how efficient they are. And supposedly the PLP is so terrible and bad. But I'm saying, there it is. And that's only one example, because I've got many others.